Directorate, along with personnel from the CRPF, raided the office of the Mysuru Urban Development Authority on Friday morning. More than 20 officials from the ED carried out document verification and checked the records at the MUDA office in Mysuru. The raids were conducted even as the controversy over the alleged MUDA scam rages on, with Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah at the center of allegations of illegal land grabbing. The raids have also followed a couple of days after K. Marigowda, considered to be a close aide of Siddaramaiah, tendered his resignation as the MUDA chairperson, citing health issues. Marigowda's resignation had raised several questions, and the opposition, BJP, claimed that his resignation was kind of an indication that Siddaramaiah may be involved in the scam. The BJP has repeatedly demanded Siddaramaiah's resignation, but the Chief Minister has maintained that he is not going to step down. We actually have a bite of his where he's asking one of the journalists to keep quiet. I'm wondering if we can play that. Now, the MUDA controversy is about the alleged illegal allotment of 14 land plots to Siddaramaiah's wife Parvati by MUDA as a compensation for acquired land. As per the allegations, these 14 plots of land are substantially more valuable than the original piece of land. The opposition claims that the total value of the scam could potentially fall within the range of 3,000 to 4,000 crore. But Siddaramaiah is completely unfazed. Listen in.
We are protesting is demanding resignation. Yes, sir. Okay.
All right, so he said, you just keep quiet. Let me now get Mohammad Wajiullah, my colleague, and to weigh in on this ED raids at the MUDA office. Waji, tell us at morning, what time did the raids happen? And like you said, and you broke it actually, that one of the associates, Devraj, his office and residence was also raided. Isn't that right, Wajiullah?
Yes, so that today's raid, as we speak, is still happening, and it is happening at the MUDA office. It is happening at the house of Devraj, who is the accused number 4, who is the starting point of this entire scam. It is said that the land was first purchased from Devraj, and it was then given purchased by Mallikarjun, who is the brother-in-law of the Chief Minister. Now, there are allegations that these documents were faked and Devraj is not the owner. So the ED right now is looking into that. And as far as what Chief Minister said, it is actually a procedural part of the investigation where they will have to go to the offices, raid them and get these documents, because it has also been said that the ED had asked for documents and it wasn't given to them, and that is why they decided to go in and do this raid. And close to 20 people were involved in this raid. 2 places that were raided properly were the MUDA office and the house of Mr. Devraj. Right now, what we also know is that there are possibilities of these raids happening at the Chief Minister's house in the coming time also, because he will also be questioned and he's also been mentioned in the ED charge sheet. Now, Snehamai Krishna, speaking at in Mysuru, has also gone on to say that he still wants a CBI investigation in this entire matter, because he believes the Lokayukta, which was deployed by the state, is not doing its duty, and that is why the ED is interfered. We've also been told that ED in the coming days will also do a raid at the Lokayukta office, because there are a lot of documents of the MUDA at the Lokayukta office also. So they might go there for asking for documents also. So these things are a possibility that can happen in the coming days. But today's raid is particularly procedural as a part of the investigation, because when the case was registered, those people who were involved had called in for giving their statement. We had seen how Devraj, how Snehamai Krishna, the complainant, had given his statement. Now what the ED is doing is that with those complaints, they will have to try to get those documents and piece these things together to see how the land deal moved from one place to another, how what land Chief Minister's wife actually owned moved from that place to another place, and how all these things happen inside the MUDA. In fact, what we also know is with the raid that happened today, especially with regards to the Chief Minister's case, but it will also open a Pandora's box in the other allegations that was leveled against the MUDA authority. If we remember, the governor had itself written a letter to the government saying that there is another allegations where funds from the MUDA was used to develop Varuna and other constituencies, and which is to the tune of 387 crores. Though the opposition has gone on to say it's a 3,000, 4,000 crore scam, the governor's letter calls it a 387 crore scam, and they had also asked for details on this. So those allegations will also be looked into this by the ED, because ED also has a case with that regard also. So as of now, what we see is one of the first raids of the ED in the entire MUDA scandal.
All right. On that note, Mohammed Wajiullah, thank you so much for joining us on this broadcast. Very tough times for Chief Minister of Karnataka, Siddaramaiah. This is a developing story, ladies and gents, and the South Indian will bring you details of it every weekday at 5 o'clock whenever the story breaks. Coming up next is Kerala Congress expels head of digital media cell, Dr. P Sarin, for anti-party activities. What is the challenge within the party? We shall examine.
A warrior so brave, he'll forever be hailed. Maharashtra is the hit.
Maharashtra tourism.
For the very first time in our investigation, we unmasked the killer of Ravindra Matre.
In 5G, we have to stand with the world, and in 6G, we have to lead the world.
Winning a Grammy was an absolutely surreal experience.
Who am I?
Nobody can crack that mystery.
There is a certain expectation of me.
That's the only contradiction.
Life itself is stranger than fiction.
I was a perfectly normal person born in an abnormal world.
I really didn't understand why is it different.
Just imagine a child who is bullied every day.
Boys school में कुछ लड़का लोग मेरे साथ sexual abuse किए. मुझे तेरे बारे में सब पता है और मैं तेरा rape कर लूँगा.
You also start to stigmatize.
अरे ये तो time pass है.
Sex doesn't come in the picture. Sex comes very late. Then there are man-made narratives.
Why do you walk like that? Why do you sway so much? So you can understand the trauma of a person who's trapped in a wrong body.
But nothing can bind life.
You have to reclaim the lost position. We fought for more than 10 years. Today I'm the mother of the industry. I'm a first transgender member judge.
You can't walk in everybody's shoes.
This is what I'm comfortable with. We just are what we are.
You become the light yourself.
That is the change that I was looking for.
When I recognize myself is a small story, but it's an interesting one.
All right, that's the second story that we are doing. Kerala Congress expels P Sarin for anti-party activities. What is really going on? The Kerala Congress seems to be in one problem after another. This isn't the first time, and this won't be the last, when the Congress party in Kerala is beset with rebellions. In the latest, the Congress expelled its Youth Congress leader, Dr. P Sarin, the doctor turned bureaucrat turned politician, after he revolted over denial of ticket in the 13 November by-election to the Palakkad Assembly constituency. This was brewing and came to boil when a day after the All India Congress Committee named Kerala Youth Congress President Rahul Mamkuttathil as the party candidate for the Palakkad Assembly seat. Until then, sources are telling us that Dr. Sarin, who is also the head of the state social media cell and apparently did an excellent job, was indeed disgruntled and was hoping for a review that maybe they'll change their mind about Rahul M. Let's call him Rahul M instead of Rahul G. But then it tumbled out and Sarin decided to let loose and lambasted the Congress state leadership at the press conference for denying him a party ticket. And he was finally expelled from the party, shown the door. In a statement, Congress State General Secretary M. Liju said that Sarin had been expelled from the primary membership of the Congress party by State President K. Sudhakaran. Sarin had indeed crossed the Lakshman Rekha when he alleged that the party was in the chokehold of a 3-member caucus. He was unsparing towards V.D. Sadisan and also Parambil as well as Rahul, and said that the trio was hijacking party affairs, sidelining key voices and undermining internal democracy. Now, immediately after spewing against Satisan and the rest, Dr. Sarin did what he was expected to do. He offered to fight as a candidate of the LDF. At that time, when he did the press conference, he said, if they deem fit, they have deemed it fit. He is now going to be with the LDF, and there is going to be breaking news very, very soon. The Congress in Kerala, of course, is in a kind of a celebratory mood because of the candidature of Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, but it is incidents like Dr. Sarin, a very, very important aspect of the Congress party, which highlights the basic question of why can't the Indian National Congress in Kerala put its house in order. To speak more on this, let me invite the guest. George Kalivayil is the editor, National Affairs, Deepika Daily newspaper from Kerala, and Dr. Pentapati Pullarao, political analyst. A very, very warm welcome to both of you, who joined us. George, let me come to you first, George. George, before this man, Dr. Sarin, we saw Anil Antony, right? Anil Antony, same thing happened. He went to the BJP. He went to his father said, I disown you, a lot of drama happened. It's another matter that Anil did not win. But the point of the matter is, this has been going on. Let us take the case, at least Anil Antony is a dynast, according to me. This Dr. Sarin is someone who was managing, you remember the Lok Sabha polls? The way he managed when he put up that post of Akhilesh Yadav with Chandrababu Naidu saying, sorry Mr. Modi, do not panic, this is an old post. I remember his post, the way he worked at it. Don't you think it's a major, because he was promised that he will be the candidate for the bypoll in Palakkad. Don't you think it's very unfortunate on the part of the Congress to have done this to him?
Sudha, you rightly said it. Dr. P Sarin is a very good friend of mine also. He was a Deputy Accountant General. He was he came from the Indian Audit and Account Service and resigned the job and joined Congress he wanted to join the politics. Finally, he was very active as the head of the social media wing of the Congress in Kerala. But he contested the last elections in Chelakara as a Congress candidate, he lost. That means his worth was very much acknowledged by the entire Congress party in Kerala. Now, he wanted a seat there, but Shafi Parambil, the present MP from Vadagara and former MLA from this Palakkad constituency, he chose this Rahul Mankotathil, who is the Youth Congress president, current Youth Congress president in Kerala, as the candidate. And naturally the others, like the KPCC president, say K. Sudhakaran, and opposition leader, Sri V.D. Sadisan, and working committee member and senior leader, Sri Ramesh Chanithara, all approved his candidature. Naturally, K.C. Venugopal and others in Delhi announced his name also. That way, Sri Sarin was really, in a distress, and he immediately objected the candidature of Sri Rahul Mankotathil. And now he is the candidate of the left front in that, because he was expelled from the party. He came out openly against opposition leader Sadisan. Now the situation is very precarious for Congress in Kerala, especially in Palakkad, as it is a by-election, where Srimati Priyanka Gandhi is contesting into the Lok Sabha in Wayanad.
Yes.
And Chelakara, the nearby seat to Palakkad, also is going for a bypoll in Kerala. And BJP, this Palakkad seat, last 2 times BJP came second. Last time it was Metro man, Mr. E. Sridharan was the BJP candidate.
Yes, I remember.
And he got almost little over 35% of votes.
Yes.
And that means the fight is really close. Congress is in deep trouble, but the present situation is little favorable for Congress as public mood is against the Pinarayi Vijayan government.
Yes,
government.
True.
And the left parties.
Yeah, and Dr. Sarin is now joining LDF. You know, even as I speak to everyone here, George, you must know, I've been following this story since morning. First he said, I will announce it, but now it's been announced. Let me take a break here, George. And then I go to Dr. Pentapati Pullarao, political analyst, to talk about this. See you on the other side, ladies and gents. Thank you.
In the heart of New York, an Indian spectacle unfolds. Step into the world of the elite saga, featuring influential Indians who've rocked the globe. From culinary geniuses,
this has been nothing less than a dream,
to the wisdom of sages.
And which is why success can never be spelt without you.
Discover the stories behind the stars. Experience the magic behind the scenes. At the first Indian event at the Statue of Liberty. Watch the Elite Saga streaming only on News9 Plus. Download now.
जानना है तो देखिए, समझना है तो सुनिए, सीखना है तो पूछिए, और कमाना है तो खरीदिए। जानकारी, सलाह और निवेश सब एक ही सुपर ऐप पर। पैसे का सवाल है तो जवाब है Money9। आजादी पैसे की, अभी डाउनलोड करें।
All right, that's what we are discussing. Kerala Congress expels P Sarin for anti-party activities. And as an expert, we have Dr. Pentapati Pullarao, who's a senior political analyst with it. Dr. Rao, you know, actually this mirrors pretty much what was P. Anwar, the case, you know, where from LDF he went, held a press conference, called Pinarayi Vijayan names, said he was an autocrat, etc. And the same thing is now mirroring in the Congress party. But if focusing on the Congress party, certain questions, we remember when Sudhakaran had given the reins to Hassan for a few days, he comes back, there was an open revolt. People, senior leaders were accused of, you know, cornering Plum Post and also taking all the decisions with no democratic process. Now, one thing is, you know, one doesn't understand is that Shafi Parambil is from Vadakara and he comes to Palakkad and he kind of decides on who will be the candidate. The thing is that in all this, the bogey of the BJP is time and again being risen. That the BJP will now, you know, see to it that because of the internal, the chinks in the armor of the Congress, it will see to it that it wins. That's how the people will see it. That's how the people will actually, you know, view how the Congress party is doing. What is basically wrong with the Congress party, Dr. Rao? Oh, pan-Indian, but so far as Kerala is concerned.
Let me tell you, all is well that ends well. You know, Mr. Rahul wanted to contest, he is going to contest, and Mr. Sarin is going to contest. This is a small state with large ambitions. Number of people are in political parties. Every political party has a full-fledged state organization, right down to the panchayat level. Every party, even if it doesn't have a single MLA, the highly politicized state, their ambitions. Mr. Sarin was a bureaucrat, then he came into politics. Was he not aware of how the parties function? That they select a candidate, there is no going back. Sometimes it's on likes and dislikes. He is not aware of it, he is fully aware of it. It is a party system in India. There are no open primaries. There is no internal elections for parties. But it's a top-down system. Whether it's the Communist Party, BJP or Congress, they select, you obey or you get out. Where will he go? Luckily, he had the CPM to go to. If there was no CPM, then he would have been stranded. Therefore, I am surprised that everybody is surprised. That's the way the system operates. They give you a ticket or they don't give you a ticket. If you get a ticket, then you say the system is very nice and very good and there's democracy and all that. You don't get it, then this is the problem. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, Mr. Rao, but there is also about being prudent about it, being extremely smart and foxy about, how you fight elections. BJP has mastered that art, and it will keep people, he will make people sit out if you do not have the wherewithal to win, to get the numbers. They crunch beans most of the time. This is not the time to say this is how it's been happening and therefore this is how it happens. And I will tell you why. Considering Dr. Sarin was head of the media cell, in today's day and age, when you head a media cell, you know exactly what the party's strategy is. You know the nuts and bolts like a surgeon knows the anatomy of your body. So to, kind of ask someone to sit out like Dr. Sarin is, I think, harakiri. George, would you agree? And also, George, tell me what went in favor of Rahul Mamkotthi?
The political thing in Kerala Congress, the Congress in Kerala, the Kerala Congress is another party. That's why I say Congress in Kerala. Is favored Rahul Mamkotthi from the very instance when Sri Shafi Parambil got elected to the Lok Sabha. Now he has to resign. Even then, it was very clear that the seat will go to Rahul Mamkotthi because he is a Youth Congress president. He is supported by others also. Now, Dr. Sarin, who worked very hard for Congress, he was hitting very hard against CPM and BJP on various counts. But he was denied a seat, and I think it was natural. He could have waited for a little more time. For another second, because he was given a seat in the nearby Chelakara seat last time in the last main assembly elections. He lost, and in more winnability maybe with the Rahul Mamkotthi, according to the Congress leaders in Kerala, because I have a detailed discussion with most of the leaders. They were very sure that they have given the seat only to Mr. Rahul only because of the winnability mainly. Though the present candidate and the MP and the former MLA, Mr. Shafi Parambil, fully supported him. But the situation in Kerala is that even now there is an edge for Congress in Palakkad constituency. Though it will be a very tight fought contest, because there is a fight between the BJP candidate that is still not decided. Some people are going for Shobha Surendran, who contested in 2011, and she increased drastically the vote share of BJP. That was, though she lost to Shafi Parambil for 17,000 votes, she increased vote share of BJP to 29% from the 19%, almost 10% increase. And Sri Metro Sridharan also increased his share again to 35%.
Right.
But now there is no O. Rajagopal or Sridharan to contest BJP.
Yeah. Mr. Rao, I mean, you just heard what George, our friend, spoke about, that it's the winnability of a candidate. I have seen that it's a small state, like you said, there are different parties and, but the thing is that the importance of by-elections, and elections have become very important. Let's not forget that the way Suresh Gopi won Thrissur, it was unimaginable at one time, but he won and he saw to it that everyone else was left behind. So if you see it from that prism, don't you think that the Congress should have done what it takes? Because see, even Anil Antony, he lost from the BJP. You never know in elections. So the winnability aspect of it should have been their prime importance. No, Mr. Rao, would you agree?
Winnability is the other man is the president of the Youth Congress. How can they deny him?
All right.
And this Mr. Sarin had got a seat in the last election. He won. I am sure, I'm not defending the Congress way of selling things and settling things. But there seems to be some logic. Whether it's flawed logic or it's good logic, we'll know when the result comes out. From all indications, even Mr. George has said that Congress will win because there's anti-government situation. It's a by-election. Will people favor the BJP? Or will they say, let us defeat CPM and vote for the Congress candidate? I think the odds are in favor of Rahul from all things concerned. And I'm sure the caste angles also have been taken care of. Kerala is no less than all other states.
Absolutely.
But as I said, one point is, It's a small state, large ambitions, many ambitious people, and politics now is the preferred career choice. You get in, you enjoy it. Everybody knows that.
All right.
So therefore, you'll have more and more such ambition and more disappointments.
Right.
Because you know how tickets are given.
Yeah. And
So
on
that's
that
the
note, thank you.
situation for Sarin.
On that note, Mr. Rao, thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast. And George, as always, such a pleasure, George, to have you on the show. I'm going to take a break, but not before. Yeah, thank you, George. And I'm taking a break, but not before what I'm going to announce is coming up next. The Khanna Commission fined rupees 264 crore irregularities in procurements made during COVID-19 at the Kidwai Memorial Institute. What a shocker that is. Coming up after the break.
Who am I?
Nobody can crack that mystery.
There is a certain expectation of me.
That's the only contradiction.
Life itself is stranger than fiction.
I was a perfectly normal person born in an abnormal world.
I really didn't understand why is it different.
Just imagine a child who is bullied every day.
Boys school में कुछ लड़का लोग मेरे साथ sexual abuse किए. मुझे तेरे बारे में सब पता है. और मैं तेरा rape कर लूँगा.
You also start to stigmatize.
अरे ये तो time pass है.
Sex doesn't come in the picture. Sex comes very late. Then there are man-made narratives.
Why do you walk like that? Why do you sway so much? So you can understand the trauma of a person who's trapped in a wrong body.
But nothing can bind light.
We have to reclaim the lost position.
We fought for more than 10 years. Today I'm the mother of the industry. I'm a first transgender member judge.
You can't walk in everybody's shoes.
This is what I'm comfortable with. They just are what they are.
You become the light yourself.
That is the change that I was looking for.
When I recognize myself, it's a small story, but it's an interesting one.
This is News9 Live, India's only digital exclusive live stream. For the early adopters, bringing you the news 24/7. For the smart audiences on the smartest TVs. News9 Live. Stream now on your smart TVs.
All right, this is our next story. What a shocker when I read it. 264 crore irregularities found in purchases during COVID. Discrepancies in RT-PCR testing, manpower recruitment and procurement of equipment and drugs at the state-run Kidwai Memorial Institute of Oncology, KMIO. All this and more was the report submitted by retired High Court Judge John Michael de Khanna, who was tasked with probing alleged irregularities in the purchases during the COVID-19 pandemic. A time when the entire world was grappling with a puzzling virus which was killing people rapidly. This was allegedly unfolding during the Baswaraj Bommai government tenure. At the center of it all is, of course, the KMIO, and the report further divulged that a lab was run by Kidwai in a public-private partnership, which is PPP, with Bangalore Medical Systems, that is BMS, and the charges were paid to the PPP partner for COVID-19 tests without any tender. One rule after the other flouted. It may be recalled that at the time no private lab had been authorized for testing COVID-19 samples in Karnataka. Brace yourself for the financial irregularities, according to the de Khanna report, to the tune of 264.37 crores. RT-PCR testing and manpower recruitment amounted to 125.46 crores and 74.58 crores respectively. Irregularities in equipment and drug procurement amounted to 31.07 crores and 33.24 crores. The commission further said as follows, and please see this: using the certifications of in-house microbiologists More samples were drawn to BMS, resulting in diversion of cost to the PPP partner and misuse of public money. The PPP partner was also given additional staff for which administrative costs were borne by BBMP. This resulted in an extra payment of 61,43,470 rupees to BMS. Worse was what is going to follow. Although Kidwai Institute was directed to stop receiving COVID-19 samples on the 8th of October 2021 around the same time, due to complaints and discrepancies in the RT-PCR reports, tests were conducted. Until when? Until January 2022. The BBMP commissioner was asked to appoint an expert committee to inquire into allegations of discrepancies in RT-PCR reports and stop sending samples to KMIO. Yet the BBMP sent 2,50,696 samples to Kidwai. You know what? For all of us who lived through COVID and lost people, fought for oxygen cylinders and ran around hopelessly, is this how an outfit makes money? Is this how you kind of siphon off money? Like I said, shocker. Let's debate. Nizam Fauzdar, General Secretary and spokesperson for the KPCC, is with us, and Dr. Lakshmi Ashwin Gowda, spokesperson for the BJP in Karnataka, is with us. Let me start with Dr. Lakshmi Ashwin Gowda. Dr. Lakshmi Ashwin Gowda, your opening comments, I don't have to say very much on this.
Ma'am, thank you for having me here. Kidwai being the autonomous institution and also a deemed institution, it has its own operational capability and latitude of action. It has got so much latitude of action and operational autonomy and also the functional autonomy. The state had nothing to do with all the irregularities. It is that institution and it is directly responsible, if at all, for the alleged irregularities, if at all it is involved in. Our party had given utmost priority to the probity in administration, and we have shown much alacrity in deeply probing all the allegations leveled against us, and we are ready to go for a deep and thorough investigation by CBI also. We are not here to protect the guilty, and we are not here to protect the corruptive people. It is this Congress government fiasco that they are trying to divert them off the issues like corporation.
No, Dr. Gowda, I have done enough stories on MUDA, ma'am, on Valmiki. I am not sparing the Congress party. I am not the judge here, by the way. Dr. Gowda, yes, KMIO is very, very esteemed. It's an oncology institute. It's very respected. But this is a public and private partnership, PPP. You know what that means, right? This was the Baswaraj government at that time, ma'am. Karnataka was number 2 when it came to COVID cases. Kerala was right on top, and look at the way Kerala handled it. The kind of money which has gone down the drain is not funny. Dr. Gowda, I have done stories during that time. I have had doctors crying on air. I have had patients who are saying, this is the bill I get, 1 lakh rupees for 2 days. This is about people, Dr. Gowda. This is not about politics.
The way we have handled the corona during our administration, both at the central and the state level.
Ma'am, salute to you. Salute to your doctors. But what about the corruption, Lakshmi Ashwin?
The mortality and the morbidity was very less below the national average of mortality and the morbidity.
I'm happy. People should die less, but people should not be making too much money. Nizam Fauzdar, please come in here. Look at this. This is a PPP, public-private partnership. And BBMP was asked to stop the test, but they carried on the test for almost a year. 264 crores? Are you kidding me? And for RT-PCR tests, which became like so regular afterwards, even now when we travel abroad, I get it done. You have to do it. What is this, sir? This even last, I remember August, the Dacuna Commission had said, it was a very short report. They said, there are some irregularities, but now they've spoken, Nizam Faujdar. I mean, this is corruption on human bodies, I say.
Sudha, I think Lakshmi wanted us to salute her for doing a great job during the COVID. Dr. Lakshmi, do you want us to salute for letting 40 lakh people die in the country? Today, if you go into the Chikbalapur and ask who is the COVID Kalla, they will say Sudhakar. You are saying that you did a great job. I'll tell you, the entire budget for the state for COVID was about 4,500 or about 4,800 crores. And the Khanna has actually said that more than 500 crores have to be recovered from the vendors and the various people who were involved in the services of the COVID. Now you are saying that you did a great job, and we are trying to, accuse you. You have to be shameful about how you chose to suck the blood out of the people who were dying. And now today you are saying that you did a great job. Do you remember how many people died on the tracks when they were walking back to their houses? Do you remember how many people died on the roads? Do you remember how you sanitized people on the road by spraying pesticides on them? Do you remember that? Now you're saying that you did a great job. Do you remember the bed scam when the COVID was happening? The same person was allotted 2, 3, or 4 beds, and you said there were no beds. Do you remember how Mr. Tejasvi Surya and Satish Reddy, tried to handle the cases, the bed scam in terms of making it very communal? Do you remember that?
All right. So
now you are asking us that we are trying to deviate the attention of the people.
This is not fair. Dr. Lakshmi Ashwin Gowda, let's give Dr. Lakshmi Ashwin Gowda also some time to speak. By the way, ladies and gents, what Nizam said, that Kalla means thief, and in Kannada, I guess, that's the word in Tamil as well, in Malayalam as well. So, Dr. Sudhakar used to be the health minister during Baswaraj Bommai, so Kalla means that. Now, moving on. Dr. Gowda, I want you to look at this. The commission found that several drugs and consumables, including bandage cloth, ma'am, surgical gloves, were procured without an indent. There was no indent, there was no kind of a tender. What is this, Dr. Gowda? You may say MUDA, I agree. You may say Valmiki, I agree. You may say Parvati Siddaramaya, I agree, ma'am. But this is theft, and over people who may be dead today. I think somewhere, everyone should stand up and accept that they will at least investigate, because there is going to be a commission, further there is going to be investigation. But what you did during Baswaraj Bommai's tenure, 40% Sarkara is politics, ma'am. This is not 40% Sarkara, this is crore Sarkara. Dr. Gowda.
Ma'am, first I would like to counter to Mr. General Secretary of KPCC that we are ashamed of our kind of administration we have undertaken during COVID time. During COVID pandemic, I'm so proud to tell that I belong to a party which has handled COVID with utmost alacrity, with utmost efficiency as compared to any developed country in the entire world. Our state government, BJP-led or Narendra Modi-led BJP government at the center has done a great job. We have achieved vaccine diplomacy. We have given vaccine not only to 140 crore people of Bharat, but also to 149 countries in the entire world. And we have handled, given the population density, the mortality and morbidity isn't above any world average. It is very well below the world
Who's
average.
Dr. Gowda? I am not comparing mortality. Dr. Gowda, I am talking about the Kidwai Institute of Oncology. Do you agree? Will you be ready? Your party members like Dr. Sudhakar, who's a doctor himself, will he and Baswaraj Bommai, where the buck stopped at that time, is your party, if you're talking about morality, Dr. Gowda, will you be ready to say, let the investigations happen? It's a commission, ma'am.
If at all, if there is any moral part of Mr. Sudhakar, who was then health minister, and Mr. Bommai, who was then chief minister, we are ready to take deep probe, thorough probe into them. We are not taking any step back, and we don't leave any stone unturned in punishing the guilty. But does the Congress is having the same conscience? And let them be conscientious in agreeing their scams and scandals. Let their chief minister be conscientious in agreeing in the scandal he is involved in, huge scandal he is involved in, and to divert all the irregularities.
This is diversion. This is a no. Whataboutery is not allowed, ma'am. Not on stories like this. I will not allow it on my show. Come on, Dr. Gowda, you're a woman and you are my species, and I think we are more above board when it comes to, any kind of, we will stand up. Nizam Fauzdar, where will this go? A commission has sat, it has said, let us investigate the case. Your government is in power. What is the forward movement, Nizam Fauzdar?
Sudha, this is the tip of the iceberg. This is the tip of the iceberg. From 5,000 crores, how much has been siphoned out? Sudha, if you remember, if you go back to the videos of the COVID times, you would get to know that a 300 rupees PPE kit was bought at about 1,700 to 1,800. A set of gloves which is taken for 200 rupees was bought at 2,000 rupees. I'm telling you, when there were beds, they made this, the cardboard beds, which were supposed to be used and thrown. They were never used, but huge amount of money was invested in terms of the corrugated boxes, the material used to make those the beds, and they were not even implemented, but huge amount of funds was used there. I'll tell you, they were creating ICUs in places which they were not existing, and they made those bills and they siphoned the money. They made COVID centers in each of the taluks, but there were no people staying. They were just given basic dal, chawal and roti. There were no medical facilities or services provided to the people in the COVID centers. That's why people were trying to run away when they were seeing that their report was positive. They were hiding somewhere, but they didn't want to come into the government facilities. They went into the private facilities, but they were conned by the people in the hospitals, and they were given 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 20 lakh kind of bills to those people. That's the reason we had to see such bad numbers, and those bad numbers were more than 40 lakh across the country. But let them come and tell how many people died in Karnataka during the COVID,
All right,
pandemic.
but this is, the onus, Nizam, you spoke, and you're passionate of being in, but you are in power.
दर्द होता है, your heart pain.
हाँ, तो दर्द होता है तो कुछ करिए. आप बैठे हैं उस गद्दी पर. No, you are saying no. The onus is on you. Onus is on you.
Yes, if I had a green pen in my hand today, they would have gone behind the bar.
All right. On that note, thank you so much, Dr. Ashwin Gowda, for joining us. And I think it's a very big blot on Karnataka, which actually handled COVID later better. But this report is quite a shocker. Thank you also, Nizam Fauzdar, for joining us. And ladies and gents, as promised, I leave you with some of the other top stories from the south of India. Thank you so much for watching.
Cooking is an act of love. The first act of love you receive from our mothers in the families.
Modern Indian food is all about contemporary and innovative approach to traditional Indian cooking.
Representation it's also important,
I want to wear this white coat every day and then be a chef.
There are stories. If the name of whiskey is Indri, then there is a whole story behind that.
Cooking food is like a therapy, and eating one is like a pleasure I can give it to myself. With Lounge Nights, I'm on a journey to celebrate and recognize the best food and nightlife establishments in various cities across India.
Radico presents Lounge Nights every Saturday and Sunday only on News9 Live.
जानना है तो देखिए, समझना है तो सुनिए, सीखना है तो पूछिए और कमाना है तो खरीदिए। जानकारी, सलाह और निवेश सब एक ही सुपर ऐप पर। पैसे का सवाल है तो जवाब है Money9। आजादी पैसे की, अभी डाउनलोड करें।
Chief Justice of India D.Y. Chandrachud has nominated Justice Sanjeev Khanna as his successor upon retirement. Justice Khanna is only second to CJI Chandrachud in terms of seniority in the Supreme Court. With CJI Chandrachud set to retire on 10th November, he wrote to the Union Law Ministry starting the Memorandum of Procedure, a document which includes the process for appointing the Chief Justice of India, seeking the recommendation of the outgoing CJI. Who is Justice Sanjeev Khanna, next in line to be India's Chief Justice? News9 Plus decodes. Born on 14th May 1960, Sanjeev Khanna enrolled as an advocate with the Bar Council of Delhi in 1983. He started his practice in the district courts of the P Sarin district and later moved to the Delhi High Court. He was appointed as the Standing Counsel Civil for the National Capital Territory of Delhi in 2004. He was elevated to an additional judge of the Delhi High Court in 2005 and became a permanent judge by 2006. Interestingly, he did not serve as the Chief Justice of any High Court before his appointment as a judge in the Supreme Court of India. He was made a judge of the Supreme Court on 18th January 2019. He held the post of Chairman, Supreme Court Legal Service Committee from June 17, 2023 till December 25, 2023. At present, he is Executive Chairman of the National Legal Service Authority. Justice Khanna is likely to take over as the CJI on 11th November. After his tenure as the Chief Justice of India, Justice Khanna is set to retire on 13th May 2025. Which important cases has Justice Sanjeev Khanna adjudicated? He has participated in a number of significant cases. He granted interim bail to former Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, allowing him to participate in the Lok Sabha elections, underlying the significance of democratic participation. In a ruling involving Delhi's former Deputy CM Manish Sisodia, he emphasized that delays in cases could be a valid ground for bail under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Justice Khanna also led a bench that turned down the request for 100% voter verifiable paper audit trail or VVPAT, which is verifications of vote cast on EVMs. The April 2024 judgment acknowledged the measures taken by the Election Commission to ensure the accuracy and integrity of elections, asserting that EVMs allow for efficient, accurate and tamper-proof vote counting. In 2024, Justice Khanna joined a 5-judge bench that declared the electoral bond scheme unconstitutional. The ruling implied that anonymous donation through electoral bonds violate the public's right to information. As a part of the bench, Justice Khanna upheld the abrogation of Article 370. In Shilpa Shailesh vs. Varun Srinivasan 2023 case, Justice Khanna wrote the majority opinion for a constitution bench, which affirms the Supreme Court's authority to grant divorces under Article 142 on the grounds of an irretrievable breakdown of marriage. He held that enabling the court to grant such divorces promotes complete justice in marital disputes.
For the very first time in our investigation, we unmasked the killer of Ravindra Matre.
In 5G, we have to stand with the world, and in 6G, we have to lead the world.
winning a Grammy was an absolutely surreal experience.
Not to add to your frustration, but did you also miss out on Coldplay tickets while waiting in the long digital queue? Delhi police have arrested a man accused of ticket scalping Diljit Dosanjh's concert tickets. The recent frenzy surrounding tickets for concerts by British rock band Coldplay and Diljit Dosanjh has exposed the shortcomings in the law regulating tickets reselling, commonly referred to as ticket scalping or touting. So what is ticket scalping and why is it making news along with Diljit Dosanjh's concert? News9 Plus decodes. Some individuals purchase tickets in bulk from primary selling platforms, Book My Show in this case. Since these platforms typically limit buyers to 4 tickets per person, these defaulters resell tickets at a significantly inflated prices on secondary platforms. But the question is, how did they manage to get around these restrictions? Well, it appears that it wasn't just individual buyers but bots that quickly purchased multiple tickets by pretending to be different people. Book My Show has recently filed an FIR against unauthorized individuals and platforms involved in ticket reselling. What does Indian law say about ticket scalping? Although there is no specific parliamentary legislation for ticket scalping, some existing laws could apply. The India Contract Act of 1872 does not directly address this issue, as it only requires consideration for a valid contract without assessing its adequacy. The Consumer Protection Act of 2019 seems relevant under unfair trade practices, but it only partially applies. The reason is that it doesn't cover cases where both the parties are aware of the original ticket price and the seller is not misrepresenting the ticket. Has any crime been reported against ticket scalping? Yes, a person from Sarai complained about being sold fake tickets for Punjabi singer Diljit Dosanjh's Illuminati tour on October 26 at the Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium. The Delhi police has arrested Kaushik Raj from Nizamuddin railway station in Delhi on the complaint. The 29-year-old accused is a native of Bihar's Muzaffarpur. He dropped out of BTech from an engineering college in Greater Noida in 2011 and has been freelancing in event management. He sold the fake tickets and quickly spent his earnings on an Apple iPhone worth Rs 1,35,000 and an Apple Watch priced at 50,000 rupees. He also used the amount for stays at luxury hotels in Bengaluru, Mumbai and Goa. How can you protect yourself from ticket scalping? Well, countries like Australia, Japan and Canada have strict laws against ticket scalping. To combat this, strategies like non-transferable tickets, traceable ownership and clear reporting guidelines can help protect fans from excessive pricing. India needs to adopt these measures to confront the growing challenge of ticket scalping effectively.
Who am I?
Nobody can crack that mystery.
There is a certain expectation of me.
That's the only contradiction.
Life itself is stranger than fiction.
I was a perfectly normal person born in an abnormal world.
I really didn't understand why is it different.
Just imagine a child who is bullied every day.
Boys school में कुछ लड़का लोग मेरे साथ sexual abuse किए. मुझे तेरे बारे में सब पता है और मैं तेरा rape कर लूँगा.
You also start to stigmatize.
अरे ये तो time pass है.
Sex doesn't come in the picture. Sex comes very late.
Then there are man-made narratives.
Why do you walk like that? Why do you sway so much? So you can understand the trauma of a person who's trapped in a wrong body.
But nothing can bind life.
You have to reclaim the lost position.
We fought for more than 10 years. Today I'm the mother of the industry.
I'm a first transgender member judge.
You can't walk in everybody's shoes.
This is what I'm comfortable with. They just are what they are.
You become the light yourself.
That is the change that I was looking for.
When I recognize myself is a small story, but it's an interesting one.
It's said that out of 7 diamonds across the world, 5 are cut and polished in India.
Don't forget, US is the largest consumer of, polished diamonds and the diamond jewelry. And that has taken a big beating for multiple reasons, but largely because of the consumer spending going down on these items. And that's essentially what has hit the diamond industry.
We are at a brim where you see not just one, but multiple very strong global brands coming out of India. And we will make a global mark, and I'm convinced about that.
This and more. Streaming on News9 plus news is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
Hello and welcome. You are watching In Your Interest here on News9 Live. I am Krishna Kumar. First up, a quick check of all our headlines. India stock markets post their third consecutive weekly loss, marking the longest losing streak of the year 2024, despite a late surge on Friday that helped reduce the week's decline. The benchmark indices, Sensex and Nifty, falling anywhere between 0.2 to 0.4% over the week. Financial stocks, however, standing out with ICICI Bank and HDFC Bank leading the rally, boosting the Nifty Bank Index by 2%. However, the broader market remains subdued as many key stocks struggle. Reserve Bank of India's Governor Shaktikanta Das during the India Credit Forum says that cutting interest rates in coming Monetary Policy Committee meeting scheduled for December would be risky and premature as the country's growth remains steady with inflation expected to moderate. Recently, the central bank's rate-setting panel decided to keep the repo rate unchanged at 6.5%. Kotak Mahindra Bank announces the acquisition of Standard Chartered Bank India's personal loan book. The loan book is set to the tune of over 4,100 crore rupees and the acquisition will be completed within 3 months. The proposed transaction consists of loans classified as standard loans as per the RBI guidelines. Food delivery aggregator Zomato will be holding its board meeting on Tuesday, the 22nd of October, to consider a fundraising proposal through an institutional share sale or a qualified institutional placement or QIP. Reports say the company is likely to approve a fundraise worth 8,500 crore rupees through its board meeting. After the fundraising, the company will apply to the Reserve Bank of India to cap its foreign institutional investment holding at 49%. Bollywood actor Tamanna Bhatia questioned by the Enforcement Directorate in Guwahati over alleged links to a digital platform named HPZ Token, which is accused of defrauding investors by promising lucrative returns through cryptocurrency mining. HPZ Token has been at the center of a larger investigation involving money laundering and financial misconduct, as the platform allegedly promised investors significant profits from Bitcoin and other crypto investments but failed to deliver on these promises. You are watching In Your Interest, and the big story we're taking up first on In Your Interest is the air quality, particularly in India's national capital Delhi and the national capital region. It is that time of the year in India's capital Delhi and the surrounding areas when the air gets thicker and harder to breathe. The city's air quality index, or AQI, took another dip on Friday morning, nearing the very poor mark with readings at various monitoring stations hovering around 300. The overall AQI in Delhi was recorded at 293, even worse than the previous day's 285. So what's being done to tackle this? Well, you may have heard of the Graded Response Action Plan, or GRAP or GRAP, a key strategy aimed at controlling air pollution, especially during the winter months when things tend to get worse. It's a 4-tiered plan that kicks in depending on how bad the air quality gets. Right now, GRAP 1 is in place, meaning steps like water sprinkling on roads and anti-dust measures are being enforced. But with air quality likely to fall into the very poor category by the 20th of October, more aggressive measures needed to be rolled out soon. Now, if you live in Noida or Gurugram, you're not much better off. Noida's AQI was recorded at 242 and Gurugram's wasn't far behind at 178. Health experts are already advising people in these areas to avoid outdoor activities, especially those involving heavy exercises like jogging or running. If you have to step out, make sure you're wearing an N95 mask to reduce your exposure to the harmful air. That's the advice. Delhi's Environment Minister Gopal Rai is taking action to combat the rising pollution levels, especially in pollution hotspots of Delhi like Anand Vihar. He's also ramping up the city's anti-dust campaign and has directed officials to focus on the problem areas. Chief Minister of Delhi, Atishi, is also on high alert, and she's been holding meetings to ensure that the city is fully prepared to tackle the worsening air quality as winter approaches. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court of India has come down hard on the states of Punjab and Haryana for failing to curb stubble burning, the major contributor to Delhi's winter air pollution. The court called out these states for ignoring directives and has summoned Haryana's Chief Secretary to appear on the 23rd of October to address the issue. In contrast, other major cities in India like Mumbai, Bengaluru and Hyderabad are enjoying much cleaner air with AQI levels well below the 100 mark. So what's going to happen to Delhi NCR? Are we set for another winter of extreme discontent and breathlessness? That's the big question we're asking, and to answer that we have a couple of special guests joining us. We have Dr. Rajesh Chawla, Senior Consultant, Respiratory and Critical Care Medicine, Indraprastha Apollo Hospital, joining us. Thank you, Dr. Chawla, for taking time out to be with us here on In Your Interest. Talk to us, what can the people do? Looks like, there's not enough measures in place to save the people. Are there anything that people can start doing at this point in time to deal with the air quality over the next 2 to 3 months?
Come October, every year we talk about pollution and very little is done throughout the year. And that's why every year we expect the pollution will rise. As you know, the stubble burning is still going on, and as it increases, the pollutants in the air are going to be even higher and they will impact everyone. The problem with the air pollution is that, it is not immediately you get effect. You are getting effect over the years. Like you smoke, you don't get an effect on your health immediately. It is over the years you get the effect on your health. Similarly, persons staying in Delhi and around, every day now in October, November, we smoke almost 10 cigarettes per day. That is the level of, as you were saying, the level of AQI is now around 300 and it is going to rise. I think everyone knows about the ill effects of this. The air pollution can cause immediate effect like irritation in the eyes. You can get cough or irritation in the lung because of the nitrogen dioxide and sulfur dioxide. You feel irritation in the eyes. And then people who are suffering from respiratory illness, they can get an acute attack of asthma, or people who is an asthmatic, similarly who's got a COPD and other illnesses. These days are very bad for them. Already we are having more patients attending our OPDs with all these problems. The general public, what they can do is, at least keep their car in a proper condition. If your cars are not in proper conditions and you are exhausting the pollutants into the air, you are also contributing in addition to all others. That's number one. Do not burn, the leaves or anything outside. I think now, and the crackers are banned. Do not please play crackers in the coming days because Diwali is very near, and you have to teach your children not to do these. These are very small things. And on a personal level, as you've already told, if you want to go for a morning walk, it is better to wear a mask, and the best would be to wear an N95. But then if you're wearing an N95, it becomes very difficult to do exercise. Maximum you can walk on the road for some time, and it is better to avoid and keep on seeing the AQI when it is above 300. It's better not to go outside. That's the minimum you can do. And if you're not carrying a mask and there is pollution, you can use a wet hanky in front of your eyes to prevent that, and keep the window panes of your car closed during this period. Do not venture out if it is not very necessary. Go for parties, and do not organize open air functions, because this is also the time when people organize function outside. Do not organize all these function outside. If you're very keen, Diwali functions, everything should be done inside if you are staying in Delhi and around area. So these are very small few things which you can do to not only to prevent the contribution to the air pollution, also to prevent yourself from the ill effect of pollution. If you are patient, talk to the doctor what you should do if there is increase in problem. So these are very small things one can do to prevent, not only to contribute, also to prevent the effect on your health.
So wait, you're saying that we should draw the line when the air quality index hits 300. So is it okay if I interpret it in this way, when you say the fact that anything less than 300, say in Noida it's 242, is it okay then for people in Noida to go for morning walks and exercises in the open?
No, it is, 300, absolutely no. You know, the best would be, like you are saying, around 100, which is, we rarely see in Delhi. It's around 100 plus minus 30, 40 most of the time in the year. So even that is also bad. That is, if it is 300, you should not do at all. But if it is less, maybe around 150, then you may go during that period. But I think in next 2 months, you are not going to have the pollution level around the 150 or 100. It's going to rise. And not only it affects health, the visibility. Driving a scooter becomes difficult as the air pollutant and the AQI, air quality index, rises. And as the winter sets in, then the problem is going to be even more.
Okay, the only question I have to ask is that, are there do you think there can be any medication that can be taken as preventive, especially for people with, say, asthma and other breathing issues, and even for the general public, apart from not venturing it out and keeping it indoors, because this is the time of the year when most people go for their purchases of air purifiers as well. How much of an impact does an air purifier have if you have it in your home? Talk to us about that, and what else the public can do in terms of preventive medication if need be.
You see, as far as let me go back. See, as far as air purifier is concerned, air purifier, it will be only effective. It of course is effective, takes away all the particles, fungi and the insects and the pollens, more than 90% in the room where you have installed. And it is very good for patients if you're an asthmatic, COPD, interstitial lung disease, or any respiratory ailment, or there are small kids, then I would recommend that you should have this. But otherwise, most of the time, if you're working outside, it's hardly going to help those individuals. But people who are staying indoor or they're sick patients, probably they should have. And I don't think that every person should have a air purifier at their home installed, because it's going to help only that period. That also, if all the windows, everything is closed, only then the efficacy will be there. But I would not recommend that everyone should follow this and buy this air purifier and to have it at their home. What was your first question?
Any preventive medication that we can take?
Yeah, there is no preventive medications.
Okay.
For a person who is suffering from respiratory ailment, they should talk to the doctor that if I get increase in symptoms, what should I do? And they should have their supply of inhalers and other things ready at home. That's number one. But there is no medication, but you can follow a healthy lifestyle. not only during the air pollution period, all throughout the year, like sleep at a proper time, take good amount of water, do some inside exercise, eat properly, do not take junk food. All these things,
Fair enough.
sleep at least 6-7 hours, because increasing immunity will also help in fighting any ailment, in fact.
And steam inhalation, how about that?
Steam inhalation, like if you come home, what you should do gargles, and you should rinse your mouth, you should clean your mouth, and you clean your face, and then probably if you're going to lift up the kids and everybody, then probably remove your clothes and wear the normal home clothes before you pick up the kids. These small things can make very subtle difference and will have an impact on the long-term basis.
All right, we will leave it at that. Dr. Rajesh Chawla, Senior Consultant Respiratory and Critical Care Medicine at Indraprastha Apollo Hospital. Thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on In Your Interest. And with that, we take a very short breather here on In Your Interest. We'll be back with lots more on the other side. Keep watching News 9 Live.
Let yourself flow with the turn of each tide.
Salty winds, you sweeten your ride. Maharashtra, Maharashtra, it's a hit.
Maharashtra tourism.
This is News 9 Live, India's only digital exclusive live stream. For the early adopters, bringing you the news 24/7. For the smart audiences on the smartest TVs. News 9 Live. Stream now